Well, let's talk about the genocide report then, because it's something you've looked at in detail.
Yeah, I had a good scrub through it yesterday. It's really not pleasant. It's essentially describing a war.
So this is the UN report that accuses Israel of genocide. That's
from the Human Rights Council. They've had a board of inquiry, I think they call it. And they've decided that Israel is fulfilling 4 of the characteristics of the Genocide Convention. And they've definitely identified an intent to do so. And it's ludicrous. They've done the same thing that South Africa did in the ICJ. They've taken cherry-picked lines from speeches, completely devoid of context, and they've presented them as something they're not. Amalek is the big one. And bearing in mind, of course, Amalek is written in The Hague on the wall on the monument there. And Bibi used it. If you look at the speech, he was clearly talking about Hamas. He goes on to be very, very clear, just as Yoav Gallant, when he was giving his speech, was very clear, just as Herzog, when he gave his speech, was very clear. They were all talking about Hamas.
Not the Palestinians.
No, not the Palestinians or Gazans as a whole. You don't need to dig far into just reading the whole speech to know this is nonsense. Therefore, it has to be disingenuous that they've cherry-picked these lines. It can't be a mistake. So that's disingenuous. They don't mention Hamas at all. To read that report, you'd think that Israel was just whaling missiles into Gaza for fun, and they weren't fighting a war against an enemy where they'd sustained over 3,000 injuries and
Hamas isn't really
killed.
mentioned, right?
Not at all. No, barely at all.
The thing is, if you have any war and you take out one side of it, you're left with the genocide.
Of course you are.
And it was produced by people with their own history of controversial remarks, shall we say, about Israel, from an organisation that's got a long history of Israelophobia.